Students, hope you have watched Victor's channel as well as the link I have provided. The next topic is the fight scene between Cobra and Mongoose. You know their preparations. Which are the preparations? Cobra stood with its spectacle hood spread. It raised 3 of its 6 feet away from the ground. Also, the forked tongue, he was making it darting in and out. There was a hissing sound as well, so as to challenge the opponent. Now, what is the initial preparation or the positioning of the mongoose? It bushed his tail, and also the long hair on his spine stood up. So from this you will understand what is the strategy of mongoose or how it manage to escape from the snake's bite. It is by bushing his tail as well as making the long hair on his spine stand up. The very thickness of his hair saves him always from the bites. Usually the snake bites are fatal, that means causes death to others, but our mongoose is immune to snake bites. Who are the spectators of the fight? The boy, a myna and a jungle crow. Myna and jungle crow, where were they? They had settled on the cactus plant. Why were they seated there? To watch the result of the fight. The boy's presence was a silent one. He did not interfere in the fight. Whereas the other two, the birds, they interfered in the fight between the two combatants. Crow and myna interfered in the fight between the cobra and mongoose. Now let's see who started or opened the attack. It was the mongoose who opened the attack. Whereas, what was the stand taken by the cobra? He stood on the defensive position. He was trying to mesmerize the mongoose into marking a false move. But the mongoose knew the technique of cobra and never looked into his glassy, unwinking eyes. There was a sort of magic in the eyes of this cobra. So, the strategy the mongoose took is he made a feint to one side. What do you mean by feint? It is an attack to distract. So to one side he made a feint. Immediately what happened? The cobra struck. But the very moment the little fellow, that is the mongoose, what did it do? Jumped neatly to one side and darted as quickly as the cobra. And at the very same time it bit the snake on the back and darted away out of reach. In between this, what happened? The crow and the myna hurled themselves at him. They threw with great force at the cobra. But they couldn't reach that mark of the cobra. They only collided with each other. And they cried and made a shrieking sound and they returned back to the cactus plant. What was the outcome of the first round of the fight? A few drops of blood glistened on the cobra's back. The next second phase of second round of the fight, what happened? The cobra struck again but missed. Now the birds continued their sport. What is their sport? They dived at the snake. But bumped into each other, hit into each other, and returned back to the safety of the cactus. Now next is the third round. What happened in the third round? There was a dramatic difference. What happened? The crow and the myna, they were trying to again dive at the cobra, but they missed each other as well as their mark. The myna flew on and reached its perch, but the crow tried to pull up in midair and turned back. The very moment, what happened? The cobra whipped his head back and struck with great force, and his snout thudded against the crow's body. What will be the outcome? You can guess. Yes, the bird flung nearly 20 feet across the garden. It fluttered, it flapped its wings for a while, and it died. The myna was safe and it returned back to the cactus plant and did not interfere again. Finally, the end of the third round of the fight, what happened? Yes, the cobra was weakening, and the mongoose, what did it do? It made a lightning snap, bite, and attack, and it could get the big snake by the mouth part, snout. Even though the cobra tried hard, was it able to escape from the bite of the mongoose? No, it couldn't make any success. Mongoose coldly hung on to that snake, and the snake stopped struggling. What did the mongoose do at the end? Yes, it smelled along its curing length and gripping it around the hood, dragged it into the bushes. What is the myna's role towards the end? Myna cautiously, very carefully dropped to the ground, just jumped about, looked into the bushes from a safe distance, and made a shrill cry as if congratulating the mongoose, and flew away. What did the boy do at the end? Yes, he too made a very cautious, careful descent from the tree, because that the mongoose had dragged the snake to the bushes. And the boy also returned to the house. Okay, returning to the house, he told grandfather about the fight that he had seen.